Greetings and salutations, loyal viewers of this channel. My name is Sean, and today I want to give you an update on a story that we actually talked about nearly 2 years ago on this channel. And of course, this was one of those New York stories where a guy was arrested a bunch of times. In this particular case, he was actually arrested 41 times and still being dumped on the street over and over again until he ultimately attacked an MTA worker in an absolutely brutal way. And the reason I'm refreshing on this story, the reason I'm revisiting it, other than the fact that there is an update, is because at the time that we covered this story, a bunch of different people on the left were outraged that people were outraged about this guy being released over and over and over again, and they said, listen, now that his story has gotten mainstream media attention, this guy is gonna get sentenced to the cruelest, harshest sentence humanly possible. Well, guess what? It's nearly 2 years later, and now they're about to punt his case to a mental health court, which will almost assuredly guarantee that this guy does not receive any serious consequences for this attack. And by the way, his MTA attack, that particular case, may not even be the most notable nor the most iconic attack that you remember him from, because just before that, he committed another crime that I'm going to have to refresh you on. But before we get into that, I want to thank everybody who signed up over on actualjusticewarrior.com/join.
Give me the money. Give me the money, okay?
Your support is really appreciated.
An MTA subway cleaner coming face-to-face in court today with a man accused of attacking him.
He was supported by both MTA and union leaders, and as Fox 6's Linda Schmidt explains, they are outraged that the case is not moving fast enough.
First and foremost, obviously, we got an emotional moment where this MTA worker, after nearly 2 years, ends up confronting his attacker, but unfortunately, we can't highlight that particular moment because this local news lady is actually pretty attractive, and you preverts are so disgusting in my comments, if I don't mention it, you will just point it out. So shame on you, because this is an intense moment for this MTA worker, and you'll all disgust me.
Right now, I'm very upset, and the DA has let us down. Yes, I'm calling out Darcel Clark.
The union representing MTA workers outraged tonight after serial criminal Alexander Wright was referred to mental health court. He is accused of viciously assaulting subway cleaner Anthony Nelson.
Look, I understand the outrage from the union rep. They're supposed to advocate for their members, and while in a bunch of different various contexts, I may have issues with public sector unions, with the MTA in particular, the fact of the matter is, this is the purpose of the unions, to back up their members, and in this particular case, this guy was injured while on the job. Apparently, he was actually trying to stop this individual from attacking another person, an idea that is not foreign to me based on this guy's criminal history, this attacker, and he ended up requiring multiple different surgeries. Just look at the shape and the state that he was in.
Nelson underwent 3 surgeries after Wright allegedly beat him at the Pelham Bay Park station in the Bronx. The subway worker was trying to stop Wright from harassing other riders. He has been arrested more than 40 times.
And if you'll remember, this was actually a case that involved an assault that had a brick involved in it. So this MTA worker was attacked by a brick-wielding maniac. And by the way, for those of you guys who might be confused, there are signs all over New York City transit places that say that assault against an MTA officer or somebody who works at the MTA will land you 7 years in prison. So this guy should be facing a lengthy sentence for this alone. However, it's being punted, or at least they're pushing to punt this, to mental health court, which will almost assuredly let this person out. Now, I do want to point out that this guy likely has serious mental issues. In fact, we talked about this at the time, about this guy being a problem, a repeat offender and all of that. But the fact of the matter is, he will not be confined against his will based on those issues if he goes to mental health court.
Today, the office of Bronx District Attorney Darcel Clark consenting to a mental health evaluation.
So I'm not sure why exactly this is the case, but Alvin Bragg, the District Attorney of Manhattan, gets a lot of attention from the national media. Maybe it's related to Trump, but honestly, even before he pursued charges against the former president, he just grabbed all this different attention, and maybe it's because Manhattan is what most people think of when they think of New York City. But what people don't realize is that Darcel Clark, the district attorney for the Bronx, is actually significantly worse than Alvin Bragg. She actually downgrades more felonies. She refers more career criminals to all these different alternative programs, and this is especially troubling considering that the crime rate in the Bronx is significantly higher than Manhattan and has always been significantly higher than Manhattan. So all these different various super predators in the Bronx are released time and time again, and unfortunately, this particular crime occurred in the Bronx.
After 40 assaults. He has been evaluated. So this is all pushing things off and what have you, another evaluation, wasting taxpayers' money and what have you. It's a bunch of bull. I'm just going to say it like it is. And it needs to stop.
Look, I cannot disagree with this man right here. It is a bunch of BS, and I love the fact that he said it, and the fact that the district attorney's office consented to this years later when the heat died down, when people forgot about this case, although I didn't forget about this case, I'd never forget about this case, is absolutely disgusting in every possible way. Now, I will point out to everybody out there in the audience that even though I just crapped on the Bronx district attorney for this MTA case, the fact of the matter is this guy's been arrested over and over again. He's gotten mental health evaluations over and over again, and he's been arrested in Manhattan, and guess who refused to prosecute him in those cases? District Attorney Alvin Bragg. And in fact, probably the most famous case that you guys are thinking of involving this person, the one that you will actually remember because their video of it is what I'm going to show you right now, which again, I'm going to have to stop, but you'll understand why I have to do that. It's because it's unbelievably violent.
This is video of Wright sucker punching an Asian woman in Chinatown, knocking her out cold.
Yeah, that's right. This particular criminal, this guy with 41 different arrests prior to the assault on the MTA person, was released without bond after sucker punching an elderly Asian woman for no reason, KOing her on video by the Manhattan District Attorney. And by the way, we still don't have any reports on the adjudication of that particular case. Now, it was considered so outrageous at the time that this guy could sucker punch this Asian woman, knock her out cold on the street for no reason, have all these different arrests, then 40 at the time, and then go on to viciously assault this MTA worker, that Anna Kasparian, again, 2 years ago, when she was not really super hard into her journey on talking about criminality, spoke up about this. She did a video highlighting that this guy should be held.
A man who has been arrested 41 times for assault has just sent a New York City subway worker to the hospital with a broken collarbone and a dislocated nose. Now, the suspect, Alexander Wright, again, has been arrested for assault 41 separate times. But apparently that's not enough to keep him out of the public to ensure that people are safe.
Now again, all you preverts out there in the audience, yes, Anna looks nice in this video, but she's a married woman, so you personally disgust me for even considering bringing it up. How dare you?
How dare you?
And Anna's sensible, logical segment on this repeat offender, this guy who committed crime after crime after crime, triggered all this different ridiculous response from people on the left wing, including this absurd, insane Hill Rising segment where they brought on some mental health expert and they played this game where they basically gaslit Robbie in saying that, oh, well, you can't punish him criminally because he's mentally ill.
But what that misses is, A, that guy does not belong in jail. He belongs in a decent psychiatric hospital. We don't have those.
Well, he should face a trial system, but he should be locked up while awaiting that trial.
Okay, so here's the question.
And then when he said, okay, fine, let's hold him because he's mentally ill and a danger to other people. And then they said, well, Robbie, he hasn't been diagnosed with any mental condition. How can you scumbag, demand that this person be held due to the fact that he assaults people over 40 times, seriously injures them, sucker punches elderly people? What's wrong with you, Robbie?
So we're saying the answer is asylums. We need more asylums where people can be sent to structured mental health facilities that they can't leave at a whim, that they have to stay. I mean, like, this person punched someone, beat someone with a rock. It can't be up to him whether he gets to leave the facility, right? You said he doesn't belong in prison, but he belongs under the restricted, supervised conditions that he cannot leave on his own.
I don't know that, Robbie. Go ahead, Tana.
If we had the kind of facilities where mentally ill people could go and be comfortable and get real treatment and have like good meals and all this other stuff, you actually wouldn't have to force them, right? Like, you just don't. Like, people have to be forced because what we have now is crap. Like, I don't want to go to Bellevue, do you?
Well, also, but wait a minute. None of us here are psychiatrists, and none of us have assessed this person in question. So it may or may not be that this is a person who's refusing medication. It may or may not be that this is a person who needs to be locked up indefinitely.
And a very common theme, by the way, among all the left wing that were talking about this particular case was the fact that, oh, he's gonna face serious consequences. He's powerless. He's a mentally ill, homeless black person, and the system never gives those people breaks. The system never will aid and abet those types of criminals. Well, guess what? Nearly 2 years later, he's being referred to mental health court. Nearly 2 years later, when you stop watching, the Bronx District Attorney did the thing that the Bronx District Attorney almost always does with these serious violent cases, and this guy will be back on the street assaulting other people again.
Surrounded by his family, the union, and MTA leadership, Anthony Nelson says his case will hopefully result in more respect for MTA workers.
I don't care if you're on the ground, I don't care if you're at an elevated platform, I don't care if you're on a bus. There's a level of protection and respect that needs to be seen when you see an MTA worker. We're in the service industry.
They're getting assaulted, they're getting harassed. It's just not acceptable.
The DA's office telling Fox 5 the defense asked to have the case sent to mental health court for evaluation of right to see if that court would be more appropriate to handle the case or if it should remain in regular court. Linda Schmidt, Fox 5 News.
The guy who was victimized by this still has ongoing pain. He still hasn't fully recovered. The Asian woman that was sucker punched in Chinatown, traumatized beyond belief, not to mention the 40 plus other victims of this guy that have been impacted by his criminality, but they're going to let this guy go. That 7-year mandatory minimum that you would get if you were in a situation where you assaulted an MTA person, if you chest bumped them or something, like he made a bad call in a baseball game, doesn't apply here. Mental health evaluation, they're going to give him some medication, and then when he goes off of it in 20 days and attacks somebody else, they're going to pretend like nobody could have prevented this. They're going to bring on that lady and gaslight Robbie Suave, and Robbie Suave is going to take it because honestly, he's too nice of a guy to be put against these bad faith actors. Robbie, honestly, listen up, man. I'm going to leave my phone number. I'm not actually going to do this. Linked in the description. You call me and I'll refer you to a therapist in order to undo the mental health damage that you're getting from being on the panel on The Hill Rising with Bree and this other lady that you randomly brought on to tell you that you can't punish this guy because he's mentally ill while simultaneously saying he hasn't been diagnosed as mentally ill. I do not know how bad the hitting of the microphone right there affected what I was saying, but you know what? I'm committing right now to leave that portion in the video because I want you guys to deal with that because that was a spontaneous organic moment, much like the mental health crisis that's going on, and you can't intervene or adjudicate against that because I live in the city of New York and apparently this is what you have to deal with. Now, I want to know what you guys think about this down in the comments below. Did you even remember this particular individual? I know he has the crazy eyes in his photo, or did you remember the sucker punch, which isn't even the main thing that he's being held accountable for? There is still nothing I can find on that case being adjudicated in any serious way, much less the 40 other crimes that this guy committed. But now, even the one against a New York City transit worker, even the one where the guy was seriously injured, even the one where the guy used a weapon, looks like it's going to be let go. And I want to know what you guys think down in the comments below. As usual, if you like this video, you know what, you show me by leaving a like. Go do that. Subscribe for more content. Follow me on my social media. Support me. The support links in the description of this video. This has been me talking about another super criminal basically being let off. Till next time.